Hi, everyone. My name is Emily. I'm the Executive Director of Marketing over here at Elify, and I am joined today by the very lovely Julianne Jones and Nancy, tell
Oh,
me how to say your last
Golya, Golya.
name. Golia.
No
Well,
one ever has any trouble with my name. I'm just gonna
ladies, thank you so much for joining me today. It is always an absolute pleasure speaking with you. Every single time that we get together, I feel like I walk out of our interactions just so inspired and ready to tackle the day, ready to tackle the week. And that's part of the reason why I've invited you here today. That inspiration that you bring to me and the ideas that we are always able to come up with together, I think what are hugely beneficial to our usership over here at Elify. And you guys you have so much knowledge about this space, about how to use shuffle cards in your business and how to use them to grow your business. I'm so thankful you're willing to be here today to share that with our usership. And so Nancy and Julianne, could you tell me a little bit about what it is that you do? What is Sociability Solutions all about?
It's hard to say. It's hard to spell too. I type a little. We love the name though. So Nancy and I, we've known each other for over 12 years. We've been friends for a long time. We started out, actually, I was coaching her. She was my client, and we've worked together through a lot of the last 12 years. And we've both worked with big name gurus in the past. We've worked through their programs. We've attended live events. And what we started to find, what we were really working on, learning how to launch, learning how to get our experience out in social media. And we just always walked away from those experiences feeling like something was missing. And so we came together in 2013. We did our first launch together. And Nancy had this amazing idea, and actually it was about virtual parties, because she was working, we were both working in the industry, and she saw all these people stumbling over trying to do an online party or a Facebook party, and she said, these folks need a system, and I'm the systems queen. And so I said, well, I can absolutely do that. So we created this program for how to do virtual parties. We launched it, and we generated over $100,000 in sales in about just over 2 weeks. So we knew that we had a lot, something going on there, and that there was really this step-by-step process that we followed that we didn't see anybody else really doing. And so we've had a lot of successful launches since then together. We've created several of those since last year, 2016 was when we started Sociability Solutions, and we've been working with clients to help them create those successful launches. So really, we help solopreneurs gain exposure and fill their pipeline with ideal clients. And that's what Shuffle does too. It's why we're such a great fit. And we use the power of social media. We work with you guys. We love anything virtual is really what we're about. And our process and the things that we teach our clients really are designed to save them time and allow them to do what they do best, which is show up, be brilliant, offer their program or product or business without having to worry about a ton of the technical side. It's one of the reasons we love Shuffle so much, because it's so dang user-friendly and easy to get set up. And we're going to talk some about that today, but that's really our focus, is helping people find the simple solutions so they can focus on what they really do best and not spending 3 hours on how do I set up this, software. So
I love what you said, helping people find simple solutions so they can focus on what they do best. And that is so much what I believe as well, and what everyone over here at Elify believes. It's all about that simplicity so that you can focus on what you are the true rock star on, and whatever that may be. Give us some just little tips and tricks. What are the little things that you've learned, if you're willing to sprinkle that on here for us?
I'm going to start with kind of just a few basics. And this is fairly party plan, direct sales specific, because that's really the niche. Most of the people that are in our Elify, our Shuffle downline are direct sellers. And that's really where we began, sharing it. And there are so many great ways that you can use this for any business, but especially as direct sellers, because we're relationship driven, right? That's what really, truly, I always tell my clients, you don't sell whatever it is your company sells. You are a relationship builder. If you can do that, you'll succeed in our industry. And that's why Shuffle has been so successful with those folks, I think, because it makes it really easy. If you're standing in the grocery store line and somehow, someone admires your earrings or whatever, and you say, oh yeah, well, this is a company I work with. That's where the conversation always used to stall. Mm-hmm. And now you can say, hey, I have a card. Let me text you my business card. Then you have their information. The follow-up piece of it is that's how I built my downline in the very beginning. I just said, hey, you guys want an easier way to follow up? And everybody went, yes. So, it really is for us, we believe that whole relationship driven piece taken to a much simpler, more reliable, interactive technology, right? And the biggest part of that is really branding and making sure that your business card is representative of who you are, of how you feel about your product, of your company. And so there's just a couple of things that I tell people when they ask, or when I coach them around setting up their cards, that I think is important. And this actually carries over to social media profiles and that kind of thing as well. First of all, you are not your company brand or your product brand. You are your own individual personal brand. And the people that are the most successful in our industry understand that and embrace it. And yes, obviously they're passionate about what they're offering in their company, but the truth is their profile picture or their shuffle picture is not a photograph of their product. It's a photograph of their face, looking out in the camera, smiling, saying, this is me, because this is who you're connecting with. And especially if you're in a larger company with a bajillion consultants, you want to help yourself stand out, right? And so think about, as you're putting together those cards, how you can make it really personal so that when that person gets that card or pulls it back up, they remember, oh, I remember her. She was the one with that beautiful smile who complimented my child's dress or whatever. So as you're putting your card together, be sure that it's very personal, that they can remember who you are personally, brand you, right? And also, I love the feature in those cards for where you can add pretty much anything with a URL link, you can put right in that card. So, if there are videos that your company offers or that you've put together, any sort of page, whether it's a branded page on a company website or your own website, but make sure that there's plenty of information there that people can click on and learn. And the thing I love the most about these cards is it is like having a website on your phone and sending that to someone and saying, here's all my information. And it's right there. It opens in your browser and you can click on those links and pull them up. So, and we're going to talk in a little bit about having different cards for different purposes. But as far as your main card goes, those are my best tips for that. And making sure that there's a clear call to action. It's really easy for them to get information and they can connect with you. I mean, in the description part there, put a little bit about your personal self. It isn't just about business.
Oh, I love that. That just speaks volumes. That you really do. You need to be branding yourself and not your product. That's key. That's gold right there.
Agreed. And your company spends a lot of money branding their product and your product. You don't have to worry about that. It's really about you. And I didn't coin the term brand you, but I love it. And it's definitely true.
That's so important. Oh gosh. So so after you've branded yourself, you've created your card, you've got this conversation going in the checkout line, what's next? What are the other things that our users need to be considering?
Emily, so yes, so you've met somebody, you've made contact. Now the next step is, let's say this person wants to host, because that's where you're going to expand your market, meet more people. So the first thing you need to do, the first card you want to set up, and the great thing is I'll run through the list of cards that you'll want to have. It's a total of 5 different cards. Once you've created these cards, then it is so easy just to edit for each different host. It's not like going back and recreating the card again and again. So the 5 host coaching cards that you want are a thank you card, which is a thank you for hosting, taking that opportunity to host.
And that's sent before they actually host the party. It's that thank you goes out when they say yes.
Exactly. And it's a thank you to them for hosting. So, and it just starts setting things up, and the communication that you have with them, it starts that as well. Now, the second card you're going to create is called Planning for the Best Experience. So whatever it is that you are offering them, whatever it is that your company specializes in, when you go and do your presentation or your sales presentation, it's setting them up to have the best experience. And again, these shuffle cards are prime real estate. There are so many things that you can do with these cards, whether embedding videos or links or, maybe even the link to your host portal, things like that. There's so many opportunities that you have to use this card, and it makes so much sense because trying to text message this to someone, that's a lot of text. But when you are able to send them this card, it really shows up, as Julie talked about, in a branded, beautiful way, providing them in an organized way also all the information that they need. The third card that you're going to send is about really 10 days out. And it's really to cover all your bases. It's to make sure that that host and you are both on the same page, that you're checking off that list, that she's doing what you need her to do. And that also it really holds you accountable to following up as well and doing what you've said you're going to do to create that great experience for her and her guest. Now, the fourth card is a 48 hours out. So 48 hours before you are going to meet for this experience, this, whatever that looks like, it's the final reminders. It's the one last time where you are able to reach out to her and or him, reach out to them and really finalize everything and make sure that you know how many people are attending, you know, all those pre-orders that are coming in ahead of these parties, whatever that looks like. But it's going to be your 48 hours out card. And the fifth card, again, happens to be another thank you. And this time, the card is a thank you for hosting. And you could embed the link to the host specials. You could embed a link to, you know, the host credits that now they have available to them, to the products, you know, whatever that looks like. You can start sending totals. You know, this is your total today, immediately after the show. And, you know, we're going to close it within the next 24 hours and let's get to this next goal. So again, there's a lot of things you can do with these cards and keep them in an organized way so that when the host opens them, she knows exactly what it is you're asking her to do, what she needs to do. And it's a win-win for you and the host. Julie, is there anything you wanted to add there?
I mean, no, that's really thorough. I think one of the tips that we actually got from one of our downline, our users, is that she actually sends the link to the card via Facebook Messenger. Because a lot of times people don't necessarily, I mean, you know, you can text it, but for me, I have to say Facebook Messenger, it's the first thing I check in the morning before my email or pretty much anything else. And it's also a great way to sort of see that conversation. So you can send the link to that card, you know, you can copy and paste it right into a Facebook Messenger post to them. And you can also text it, but that way they'd have it in both places. And I love that the thing that it does is you never have somebody coming back going, where was the link to that host portal again? Or what? It's that you can refer them directly because all those links are right in the card and it's easy for them to pull that up and just click on it and open it on their phone.
So this is what we like to call ninja tips, and that's tip number one. The other tip, Julie, I was thinking too, is that as soon as you meet that host, as soon as you've made that connection, make sure she adds you as a contact in her phone so that when these cards start coming through, you know, your name is popping up and it doesn't just come through with your number.
Correct.
Right. Okay. All right. So let's move on now that we've worked with the host. Eddie, we'll talk about working with your customers and how you can use cards with the customers. So again, we have about 4 different cards that you're going to be able to use. The first one is for your booking leads. And you know what, I was sitting here thinking as you all were talking about these cards and, you know, if we had them when we were in business. And the one thing that people hate to do is they hate to call. And the other thing the receiving end hates is to pick up that call. And you know, if you'd had these cards when we were making all those phone calls and sitting down for hours at a time, the other thing I know is that when I send these cards, it takes me literally seconds. So, you know, you've got these booking leads, you know that person is interested. You know, a lot of times they come back and say, well, not now or not right now, maybe in September, you know, whatever. And the great thing is that whatever their reason is, you know, to host or to hosting, you can actually take those. And then here's another ninja tip. You can put a reminder follow-up. There's a reminder follow-up feature. So, you know, if someone's saying, well, you know, now's not a good time, it's summer, you know, let's do it in the fall. Okay, great. So I'm going to put a reminder in August to follow up with that person. And, you know, it's in your calendar. It starts, you know, you have a plan, a system, so you don't have to think about, now, who was it that said they wanted to do that in September?
Not only that, but it pops up on your phone. Shuffle will remind you.
Notification.
You talk to the person. I mean, if you don't get that, then something's wrong because
exactly
it's automated, right?
Right.
All right. So let's talk about monthly specials and how you distribute that to your customers. And like Julie said, you know, if you're 1 in a million consultants out there, and I think about, I'm on one company, I have I think there's 5 consultants that I get their monthly newsletter, and I'm just like, really, like in an email and it's, of course, it's the exact same thing. But what if you had a business card with the monthly specials? So I was sitting in an airport across from this woman, and she was like on her phone, and she was texting, and it looked like she was struggling. And I finally said to her, "What are you doing?" And as it turned out, she was with an essential oils company. The company had run one of those flash sales, which really sends their sales force into a tizzy. And so she said, "I've got to get this out to my customers as soon as I can." And I thought to my head, light bulb moment, what if she had a Shuffle business card that she could embed that flash special link and then boom, send it out to all her contacts at one time? Like, how great and how helpful would that have been, instead of her sitting there frantically trying to type that all in? So that's something, along the lines of monthly specials. Also, another ninja tip is you can tag your customers by their product purchase. So if that special comes up, and that that's something that they like to buy, then, you'll be able to actually go ahead and send them that special.
You can
okay.
pull up, so what she's saying, just to clarify, is if you tag everybody who purchases, that particular product, if it comes on sale, you can pull up by that tag all those people and just send them a card. You know how much most CRMs charge just for that feature, and it's included in Shuffle.
So Julie, as long as we're talking about tags, why don't you just talk about the tagging for the customer by profession and the several uses that they could use when doing that?
Yeah, well, I think the key to that is you tag customers when they're ordering, so you can search by product and retarget. But what Brandy told us, and she sells wine, was she said she tags by profession. So lawyers, realtors, teachers, if there's a specific type of profession who, tends to resonate with your product. And she said at Christmas time, back to school, end of school year, when these realtors are looking for, or lawyers are looking for gifts, or, parents are looking for gifts for teachers, or in the summertime when teachers aren't working, there's so many different ways, if you think about it, that you could segment your list with these tags so that when it comes November 3rd, you pull up all the realtors and lawyers and you send them a card that says, "Looking for great gift ideas for your clients? Here's my link." It's so simple.
Okay, so we've got 2 more cards to cover for customers. One is out of the box. So once they receive their products, just a card that checks in to make sure that they've received it, because you've been told they've received it, and then following up to make sure that they are, they're opening their products, they're using their products. It's an opportunity for you to upsell at that point, knowing what they've bought, and maybe upsell to them. So it's the out of the box card. And the final card that we'll cover is the "I'm sorry." So how many times have you told someone that you would follow up with them, that you'll call them, that you'll text them, that, you'll let them know something? And the truth is that we get busy and time gets away from us. And now we're almost embarrassed to reach back out because we didn't follow up like we said we were. Well, there's the "I'm sorry" card, and that's "I'm sorry I didn't follow up sooner, and, please forgive me. And I know that you were interested, and let's move forward, and how can I serve you?" or something along those lines. So it really is a great excuse for you to follow up with someone that you may not feel so great about following up with.
Well, that happens to all of us. And it's really funny because Brandy, our client that we're, referencing, she actually used a Snapchat overlay that had like a rabbit nose and ears and changed her voice. And it was like, "I feel like such an idiot. I should have followed up, and I forgot. I'm so sorry." And she said she's never sent that card when the person hasn't responded and gone, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much." It's just an easy way to go, "Wow, I really messed up, and I still want to talk to you."
I love that. And, we get those follow-up notifications in Shuffle all the time. And I know that I'm guilty of it, where I've set a follow-up, I'm getting the reminder, and I still just have not acted on that reminder. And so having something there that makes you feel comfortable to still complete that follow-up and still complete your task, so that lead isn't running cold and you don't lose that opportunity, I think that's huge. It gets you over that hurdle, which so many of us in direct sales have faced when we've forgotten to do what we said that we were going to do. And you get embarrassed because you realize, shoot, I should have done this and I dropped the ball and I'm sorry. And I appreciate that. And so, now tell me, girls, if I'm keeping track here, so far I have that you really need to have 5 cards right? You need to have 5 cards for hosting.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're talking about 4 cards for your customers. So
Mm-hmm.
we're at 9 cards now. And so do you ladies recommend that users are truly utilizing that 100 card upgrade and then having more than 10 cards in their stack? Okay.
You pretty much have to do that if you want to use it for business. But I'm telling you, Nancy and I are specialized in CRM setup. We're Infusionsoft certified partners. And, the cheapest you're going to get any type of a CRM like this that lets you do the same type of thing with email, by the way, which isn't as effective, is, $100 a month or more. And so, spend that $50 one-time fee, get the 100 cards. You'll never use them all. And the beautiful thing is, like Nancy said, once these are set up, you recycle them. You have that host card. It goes out to every single host. It's the same card. You just change it every month with the host specials or whatever. But you're going to need more than 10 cards. Yes, you are. And it's a $50 investment in your business. Just build the bridge, get over it, because you got to do it.
And I think that's so huge, and that's a great point, is that if you need to spend the time in the upfront to develop this content and create these cards, because it's going to make things so much easier for you, and you're going to be able to run so much more quickly once you've already have them developed, and you're not going to be stumbling over yourself or putting things off because you already have this content created. It's sitting in your back pocket right at your fingertips. All you need to do is edit this one little portion, put in a name here, put in a number here, and you're off to the races and ready to go.
Yeah, it becomes part of your system, right? Just like anything else, is or has been in the past. This is just a lot easier. Now, I will say, because you mentioned that, and I think it's important, this isn't going to happen overnight for you. And if you need to give yourself some time. And so maybe schedule, 1 or 2 days a week and plan on getting, like all your host coaching cards done or all your customer cards done. Or I'm going to talk about sponsoring team building training in a minute. But don't expect, I think it's a little bit crazy to go, I'm just going to get this all done in one day, because you'll probably lose your mind. And it's probably not possible. So just start with the area that's most important to you. I probably would say your general card and host coaching or customer follow-up, one of those two. And then just build it as you go. And once it's done, and you don't have to worry about it anymore.
I love that.
So we're going to end by talking about team building and also team training. And I love the idea of using these cards to help with team training. And again, it was something I had never thought of. And when Brandy mentioned it, Nancy and I were both like, this is brilliant, because it's such a big deal. And it's such an area, I think, as a trainer in this industry and a coach, that I notice people miss. They bring someone on, they go to all that work to recruit someone, and then they don't really have a system for training them. And you can use these cards absolutely to do that. So you bring someone on, say a new consultant, and the first thing you do is send them a welcome to my team with a heartfelt video from you. And I'm sorry if you don't like to see yourself on video, you just need to get over that too. And just, and if you don't have a big setup and a ring light like I have in this beautiful background here, who cares? Go like this and make a selfie video on your phone that says, welcome to my team. I'm so glad you're here. I love you. And then, that becomes the video on that card. So there are a couple of different sort of touch points. So that's the first one, to get the card. And on that card, again, there are links to your back office and any training materials that your company provides, and, checkpoints that they need to have to get started. Anything that you normally do training-wise for that new person, you want to put on that welcome card. And then creating a card for 30 days out, 60 days out, and 90 days out at least. And those are for new representatives, okay? And so they're getting those cards. Each, you're touching bases about once a month, and obviously you're touching bases more often than that, but once a month they're getting the cards. And oh, by the way, might be a really good idea to get them signed up for Shuffle. And every time you send them a card, remind them to clone that card, because now you're creating a duplicatable system. So your team can begin using the same exact simple, easy, and the same thing with all the rest of these cards. You take a new person, you say, hey, I got your host coaching program all figured out. Once you sign up for Shuffle, let me know. I'll send you all my host coaching cards. They don't have to do the work because you've done it for them.
That's magic.
It is magic, yeah. So you're keeping in front of them and touching bases. Obviously, the same thing goes for any kind of team training. Any type of, so Brandy said she's doing, like weekly training for her team, and she has a card where she does like a quick video training. She plugs that video into that card and sends that out to her whole team. It takes, like Nancy said, that long. So it's such a quick and easy way to train your team and to keep that ongoing training. If there's a company announcement or something happens that they need to know about right away, recognition is super easy to do with these cards, and you can create really fun recognition cards. And the other thing that is a really good idea, if you have the opportunity or the technology, is to do screenshot videos with quick tips like, here's how you use the back office. You can do product demos, any type of education. And I'm a big believer in educating and teaching in groups through pre-recorded media, and then coaching and mentoring one-on-one. So you're not spending your time teaching them how to do it. When you're coaching them, you're spending your time overcoming their issues and applying what they've learned to their individual situation. So those are the big team training. And then for recruiting, obviously, it's the same as if you meet someone, we've come full circle where you started, right? They're interested in your opportunity. You have that card available. It has any recruiting information that you have at your disposal, and you share that with them right then and there, and you schedule follow-up. And I'm shocked to know that I'm not the only one who doesn't actually take action the minute that follow-up thing pops up. It happens for you too, Emily. That makes me feel so much better. The key, though, that I found is if you don't follow up when that reminder pops up, reschedule it and make sure that you remember, because that is your business. The fortune's in the follow-up, right? So, yeah, that's pretty much all of the ninja tips and ideas that we have. But I think it's plenty for someone to work off of. They could probably watch this video 4 or 5 times and literally have an entire CRM, and that stands for client relationship management. It's like having a big MailChimp or Infusionsoft or ActiveCampaign or one of those more expensive tools that are, again, email based, right in the palm of your hand with the shuffle. And now that you guys have made the interface on the computer, and thank you, I am a computer person. I hate going online on my phone. I'm not going to lie, unless it's Facebook. I love being able to go on the computer and do everything on the computer that I used to have to do on the phone, setting up my cards, checking all that. So it makes it really simple to manage that. And if you have Shuffle and you haven't been using it, take these ideas, and you should be in there every single day, and you should be using it as a part of a system to run your direct sales business.
I think that's absolutely right. And I'm keeping count here. So far, I think we've talked about almost 20 cards that individuals can create, but I think you're absolutely right. If they watch this training, anybody who watches this training, they should be able to step off, and they can watch it 3, 4, 5 times. They step off, they're going to have an entire system in place for them. That's not only going to help them through their hosting, their coaching, their
team training,
their customer, but then you've also got your team training and all of that team collaboration. And then what's brilliant is you're providing this content. If you're a team leader, you can provide this content to your team, they can replicate it, and you're almost guaranteeing success at that point, because then you've got your team out there. They have the content that they know is going to work for them. You're setting them up so that then all they have to do is plug and play as well. And that's the brilliant part to me.
Well, and not for nothing, but it's a tiny little side hustle too. And it's such a small investment. You're asking someone to invest $60 up front and $10 a month, especially if they come in now. Now, if you're watching this after July 1st, that's different. Sorry, you might want to cut that out. But the bottom line is you're creating a bit of a side residual income for yourself as well, because Elify is going to pay you for every single one of those downline who signs up with Shuffle. So it's a win-win.
This was a huge training. I'm walking out of this going, well, I can get back in direct sales and kill it again. Because I know now I've got Shuffle and I've got this whole plan in my pocket. This is fantastic. Ladies, thank you so much again. Sociabilitysolutions.com. Go check them out. Connect with Nancy and Julianne. Get all the information that you can about them. And I know that they will be able to help you and drive you towards success. Thank you guys so much. I can't say thank you enough. I appreciate you being here. And everybody else, make it a wonderful day.